Welcome, everybody, back to the Tearing It Up podcast. So, we are in the third episode of the Pitch Fest series. This one's a really cool and different episode, much like our last one with the past finalists being a full round table with all the ladies together. This one is a different format than we've done in the podcast before, and it's going to be a compilation episode of this year's 2025's. There are 9 finalists in Pitch Fest this year. And today we have Kara and Arwen's Thicket Adventure.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to make sure it wasn't just Thicket, but I'm really excited to get into their story. As usual, I'm gonna turn it over to the ladies themselves to give you all the introduction of their business and who they are. So I believe we are gonna start with Arwen.
Yeah. So, what is Thicket all about? Designed by plus size adventurers for plus size adventurers. Thicket makes the most comfortable, durable, badass, technical hiking pants available right now for folks who wear sizes 14 through 30.
I love that, and you guys are co-founders, right?
Yes.
Do you have a specific role or title within the company?
That's interesting. So Kara is actually the full-time person right now running Thicket, so I would call her our executive director, and, I am more of, I would say, support system, and I really like marketing, and hopefully I'll get to join Kara full-time soon.
Love that.
She's an excellent
Awesome.
support system. We wouldn't be able to do it without her.
Amazing, amazing. Well, Kara, tell us a little bit about you as well.
Yeah. So we're actually both coming to you from Vermont, so all the way over on the East Coast. But personally, I was in construction before this, and I was a construction project manager, working mostly interior healthcare and higher education. When we decided to start this company back in 2019, we both had our full time jobs for several years while we designed our first pair of pants. And that was because, like, we wanted the fit to be perfect. We wanted to make sure that it worked really well for plus size bodies because there just wasn't good standards out there. So we did over 100 fit testers and a whole bunch of work to get here. And then last year, 2024, I left my job in construction and came over to do this full time.
I absolutely love that you start at a size 14. That is something very different. And one of the questions I have for you is what gap are you filling in the outdoor industry? I think we've answered that for sure. And it seems like that is just such a unique place for an apparel brand to start because often as women, we're the afterthought. Usually it's like start with men's and then women are the after. We'll make our women's line next. And as we dive deeper into that, it is inclusive sizing, more size options that start later. Like you get into color and things like that as well, but sizing for sure you see that limited size run and it's like, yeah, as we get bigger, we hope to get into those larger sizes and it's like a fourth afterthought, in the plus size world. So that's really incredible that you guys are doing that and really putting the focus on that audience. I think it's incredible. I'm wondering what your most proudest product is at the moment.
So the Brecken pant is our first real product. Maybe not real, but our first product, and that is our technical hiking pant. And what makes it so special is, first of all, it took us 3 years of research and development and fit testing to get it right. So we had over 100 fit testers. We really, really listened to our community when it comes to what folks want and need in a hiking pant. So it took us a little longer, but we've nailed fit. So nailing fit is like the first thing. The second thing is we have 2 different styles of fit. So we have a booty and a belly fit because not all bodies are the same and folks carry weight in different places. And so we can't just put everyone in the same pair of pants because it just doesn't work. And I think that's, when we talk about gaps, I think that was a big, big gap of why what was on the market wasn't working for us. Number one, it just didn't fit right. And number two, the sizes didn't go up to the sizes that we needed for our folks. And then I think the third thing that really makes the Brecken pant great is that it looks really, really good. So, you don't have to make a choice between quality and cuteness. You can have both.
And to add on to that, the Brecken pant is currently our only like technical product at the time. We are working on some more products, but like we take our time to create these things because we want them to like actually work for the bodies. We have a few, like, T-shirts and, like, fun little things out there. Just got some new T-shirts that I'm excited to put up, but, yeah, we're working on some additional, like, technical products, but that is our, like, main product, and frankly, people love it.
I love that. That's amazing. Now, you spoke a little bit about your experience, but was there one aha moment for you that inspired you to, like, do this yourself, and just be like, "I am gonna be the one to fill in the gap"?
Yeah, so Arwen and I met right before this, but I climbed Kilimanjaro in 2019 with 19 other plus size adventures. There's actually a documentary out there called Killy Big about us, which is pretty cool. But every single one of us was wearing leggings on that. Frankly, I got a food or waterborne illness and I was sick most of the time. So there was bodily fluids all over my pants that could not come off because they were leggings and they don't exactly wipe off easily. So between that and Arwen has a great story as well. We were just like, this is needed out here. We need these pants that actually technically work for these big hikes and even just like small hikes too, but like are comfortable and stay dry and stay clean and stay safe.
And I think for me, like, besides, just wanting the pants to exist for ourselves. I think my aha moment that this was really, really a needed thing was we started a brand new Instagram account and we put out a survey to see like, is this just Kara and I wanting pants or is this like a real thing? And we had over 1,200 responses to that survey in 4 weeks for a company that didn't exist yet. It was just an idea. And everything said the same thing that people needed durable, comfortable, better fitting, technical, cute outdoor gear.
I mean, it's all of that. It's just so true and blows my mind how long it's taken, to get here, how long we've gone without these things. I just am in awe talking to women like you and all of the ladies who have participated in Pitchfest and beyond out there and how we're stepping into these spaces because of how much gap there still really is in the outdoors and just in apparel in general. So I'm also curious then, what being a Pitch Fest finalist means to you?
We're incredibly excited for Pitch Fest because, just bringing this product and what we've been doing to a company that is like such a staple in outdoor athletics is huge. Like it just kind of feels like we're being seen, you know? Not that we weren't seen before by like our community, but like we're stepping outside of our community and being seen by others and recognizing that like plus size bodies are out there doing like awesome things and badass things as well. We've gotten, as Arwen said, some like amazing stories from people. One that sticks out in particular that I hope we can bring to the stage actually is gal whose husband got an opportunity to go study like bighorn sheep in the backcountry and she was able to like go with him and like there's very few researchers who like get this opportunity and she wasn't going to be able to go because she, like, couldn't find gear that actually, like, fit until she found us, and, like, gonna tear up again now, but it was so cool just to hear the stories of how she was, like, comfortable and warm enough, and, like, she didn't get wet, she stayed dry and, like, had a great time back there. That was just incredible. So we're excited to bring all that to the stage and to Title Nine.
I love it. The next thing I am wondering is what your biggest growth lesson has been thus far.
That is a question, isn't it, Kara?
Yeah, so
There's one learning curve that I'm very much still on, and I think Kara might be on it with me too. So, in this, we are constantly being connected with all these amazing mentors and advisors as we've been growing this company. And Kara and I are both like kids that like to get A pluses on everything. And what's really hard for us is that all mentors and advisors have different lived experience and different advice. So, we can't do Like, if we can't change our pitch and change our resources and change, our brand voice with every recommendation we get. So there's been this shift of us having to be like, okay, this is really great advice and this works for us and this doesn't work for us, but we're not going to get an A plus from everyone all the time because everyone has different experience and it's really up to us and this is our brand. And for me, that's been both a struggle and then in the last couple months, like very freeing to be able to be like, oh no, this is what being an entrepreneur is you take the advice from people around you and then you make those decisions because this is your brand and well, our brand and our baby.
Yeah, I that made me think of I was at Switchback and Gigi from Nara was actually on one of the panels, and I think it was talking about finances or something, but basically what she said was, "Anyone who's giving you black and white advice about anything, just, like, don't listen to that, because all of this stuff is in the gray, and you get to choose what path you take." So that's probably gotta be some of the best advice that I've ever heard from someone, and I completely agree, and I think I wanna add on one more, is that going into this, I thought customer service was going to be really difficult to do, and it was going to be, like, tough to deal with people who might wanna scam us or, like, take stuff like pants from us and not pay us and, like, all this different kind of stuff, and frankly, that's just, like, hasn't come out true. We've had people where, like, I accidentally send them 2 pairs of pants and they send me back the other one. Like, they don't need to do that, and so I think I've rearranged my brain on, like, what, like, customers are going to do, and we've always been good to them. We've done as much as we can to help people out because that's what we wanna do, but that's been a really kind of, like, faith back in society bit, that's, been pretty big difference than what I expected.
It's hard for her a little bit because she won't toot her own horn, but she really, really cares about our community, and I think that's why customer service is so natural for her because it's not just a pair of pants out there, it's the end point, like, it's the fact that for years, this individual on the other side hasn't been able to find a pair of pants that works and that they haven't been able to live their best life, and, Kara and I tear up all the time about things, but she's just really, really good at, like, seeing through oh, it's not just a return. Like, this is part of, like, a bigger kind of, like, ecosystem of this person's life, and, like, how do we help them live the best life outdoors? And she just does an amazing job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love the support here. I love having both of you guys and, like, feeding off each other. What is the boldest vision you have for your company?
To make plus size gear as easily accessible as straight size gear is right now. So have it in big stores, have it everywhere where you can just walk in and get it.
Ditto.
Love that, love that. To the point, absolutely, 100%, that's great. That wasn't even yeah, that's
That's an
when you
easy
know
question for
yeah,
us.
I love that so much because that means, like, that is, like, yes, your heart's center, everything, values, ethos, like, just inside of you guys, just, like, spewing out. It's incredible. I wanna know what keeps you fired up to keep chasing that dream?
What keeps me fired up personally is probably our win.
Oh.
I know, like okay, so real talk, we actually were best friends before we started this company, we're still obviously best friends, but that really helps. I know people say don't start businesses with your friends, in this case, it has worked for us incredibly well. But yeah, I get to see her a couple times a week, and I feel like that just, like, brings that all back. Also, when we get, like, amazing reviews or just people commenting that they, like, went and did something in our pants, that's like
Aw.
Love it.
I feel like I'm, like, too emotional to even answer, but I do yeah, I mean, I think it's joy, community, love, friendship. And we didn't get into this. I mean, Kara's background is construction, and I'm a nonprofit executive. Like, we didn't get into this because we had any sort of skill set in like fashion design or like technical design. We got into this because being in fat community outdoors brought us joy and brought us confidence and a better life than we had been taught by society that we could have. And it's that community. That's why we do this. Like, it's It's really hard sometimes. Her carrot's so hard right now because she's only one human, and you can look behind her and see all those boxes of beautiful pants, but, like, it's exhausting. This work is so, so exhausting. It's so exciting, but, like, it's, yeah, we do it because we love our people. We love people with booties and bellies and butts and thighs.
Yes. Amazing, amazing. Well, again, I love seeing you 2 just support each other, and, I really can feel where this all, comes from, stems from, and everyone out there, I really hope you heard that, how they came from places that had nothing to do with what they're doing now, so if you're listening, I really hope you're inspired out there to if there's a passion you have, a desire, you feel a need that you think you can answer, even if you don't see it being, the biggest business in the world, but you just need something answered for yourself and you know others have the same problem, like, you don't have to have this skill set. You can go learn the skills to get you through it. So I hope that inspires any of you out there who have something brewing and have held back because you don't think you're qualified to do it. If it's something you need and want, like, you can, again, learn. You can find the people, learn the things, and just go for it. And with that, I would love now for you ladies to share where people can find you and support you and follow along on this journey.
Yeah, they can find us at Thicket Adventure on Instagram, Facebook, technically TikTok, but I'm working on building that. Not as good at building that, getting there.
Same.
LinkedIn as well, if you're that type of, if you want to connect with us there, or you can go to our website. And we have a newsletter, which is incredibly entertaining, I must admit. It maybe comes once a week, depending on how busy I am. And it's usually, I try not to let, like, AI write it, I just kinda, like, go crazy, and there's just lots of typos in there, but it's very entertaining, so sign up for that if you'd like.
Definitely am going immediately to your website to check out that newsletter because I need some entertainment. I am so excited to meet you ladies in person at Pitchfest and to get to be in the audience and see it all go down and to be able to connect with you guys after as well. So as we wrap it up here, is there anything else you guys want to leave the audience with at all? A little piece of fire or something to inspire them to go out there and chase their dreams like you guys have or create new dreams.
You belong at the table, don't let anybody tell you you don't.
I love that.
Yeah.
Hey.
Mic drop. Alright, thanks, Kara and Arwen. Now we have Emily LaPlume. Emily, I would love for you to share with the audience today where you are in the world as we record today.
Yeah, awesome. Well, you nailed the name, Emily LaPlume. I am the founder, designer, and CEO, kind of the do it all here at Saturday Swimwear. I am currently based in Portland, Oregon. I just moved here recently from Bend.
I love that. Are you from that area?
No, I'm from New Hampshire originally. So kind of a opposite side.
Yes. I saw on your website under where you can find your retailers that there was a lot in the Northwest or the West rather, and then some, like, Maine, and I'm like, "Alright, I wonder if she's from the East Coast and now
Yeah.
has, transitioned over to the West."
I'm still fairly new here, so I'm like figuring it out. But the Pacific Northwest has a lot of similarities with New England, so it definitely feels like home. And I've been out here over 6 years at this point, so the PNW is definitely home for me.
I love that. Oh, and, that is interesting, I think, well, some of us Pacific Northwest natives might think anyways of starting a swimwear line in that area. It's not generally the place where you're wearing one very often, um,
Yeah.
in the grand scheme compared to other areas. But with that, I am wondering, can you tell the people what if you have one, like a elevator pitch for Saturday swimwear?
Yeah, totally. It came out of a necessity that shopping for a swimsuit always feels like a compromise. So my goal with Saturday Swimwear is to really just hone in on timeless, functional, and sustainably made pieces. They're all made in the U.S. from regenerated materials. Everything's really high quality, compressive fits, and designs that are are really created to move with you. So at the core, Saturday Swimwear is about creating swimwear that lets women feel confident, comfortable, and empowered to enjoy the outdoors without having to sacrifice fit, style, or their values.
I feel like that pretty much answers the question of, like, what gap are you filling in the outdoor industry, but is there anything that you would add to that?
Yeah, definitely. I think, the outdoor industry, there's really like, there's surf brands and then there's maybe like really, really high performance swim and apparel brands for like professional athletes. And there's really no in between. So I kind of sit at the intersection of like functional, comfortable, and cute. So it's really like you can go swim laps in the pool, you can go lay on the beach, but you can also chase after dogs, run after your toddlers. Like you can hike in them, you can swim in them, you can surf in them. But I really wanted to speak to that woman who maybe doesn't feel represented in a lot of the imagery and the verbiage that's out there about like, oh, this is for like hardcore surfers and only that, or this is for, triathlons only, and things like that. So I wanted my brand to be representative of real women and women who are like, oh, I don't really feel like I fall into this category, but I still need a functional swimsuit, but I also want to look beautiful and feel confident and then simultaneously I care about the environment, so I want it to align with my values. So I really feel like I'm kind of speaking to like regular women, which I don't think necessarily should be seen as a bad thing, but it's just like the majority of women are not on these like elite levels of performance or whatever. And so I just wanted to create a brand that really speaks to that.
I think you are speaking to that core audience right now. And I mean, that's also why doing this collaboration with Title Nine has been amazing because a lot of the brands they carry or folks who have been a part of Pitch Fest, you included in that this year, are aligned with our values here at the podcast. So it's been like a perfect match because a lot of our audience, myself, it's like, yeah, we're very active. But yeah, not always participating at an elite level. Is there one moment that was kind of your aha moment to start Saturday Swimwear?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of twofold. So I started the company in college. I was studying and traveling abroad and was kind of always looking for that one swimsuit that checked all my boxes and I couldn't find it. And so I had a bit of time in between semesters abroad and I was like, okay, I'm going to teach myself how to sew. And so I pulled up some YouTube videos and just like taught myself how to make bathing suit bottoms. And that's really like where Saturday Swimwear started. Over the years, though, it has kind of evolved into what it is today. And really, I think my aha moment after like the initial product conception really was I had graduated college, closed the company down for a bit of time, and was backpacking around the world. And I was in Australia on a work and holiday visa. And I was in this coffee shop and they had some swimsuits on the wall. And it was the first time I had seen regenerated nylon. So this recycled material that's made from industrial waste. And it really kind of it was that aha moment. It was just like, holy crap, I can make a product that isn't just adding to the mess of stuff. The fast fashion industry is really detrimental to the environment and developing communities around the world. And as I was traveling a lot, I was seeing the effects that was having, in Southeast Asia and places like that. And I was like, I don't want to make more stuff just to make stuff. And so finding that material, it really gave me that it just like set a fire under my butt that I was like, holy crap, I can create a product that not only fills this gap in the market, but that also feels like it's making less of an impact on the environment. And so I think that was my aha moment where it actually gave me purpose in a lot of
Mhm.
ways. It gave the brand purpose and it gave me something to work towards and a message to spread. Because really, like, my goal with the brand is obviously create a really high quality product, but also be able to share that message of like, okay, here is the story behind the products that you're purchasing, and be able to connect consumers on a deeper level with the stuff that they're buying. Because I think that one, it makes us take care of things a lot better. I think it's perceived value as well. Like you're buying into a story and you're buying into like education and you're buying into all these different things. And so I really want to create that connection from like start to finish for the products that I'm creating.
I love it. That's amazing, and usually just that sustainability story, we're hearing a lot of people, really recognize that, and it's just how do you produce something that you care about and something that's needed without adding to the problem, and obviously that's really hard. You're adding somehow, but if you can take the most limited addition to it and think about the most, like, sustainable ways and things that are making a difference, that's just so important, and it's really you small brands, I think, who are doing that, and so that's why one reason I think it's really important for us as consumers to support those smaller brands because you really do have I don't I feel like just more of that sense around it than the
Yeah.
bigger guys at times.
Yeah, and I
And I
I
s
feel like it's our responsibility to help educate consumers because we only know what we know, and it's one of
Mhm.
those things that the more information they have, whether we choose to consume it, read it, absorb it or not, like that's where then the pressure's on the consumer. But if I, as a brand, can be like, okay, here's the material that my suits are made out of, here's the factory that they're made in, here's the process that I've gotten to get here, and every other little aspect of the business, I'm providing that transparent story and giving customers the ability to like connect on a deeper level. And I have something I call it my artist series, but I collaborate with a female identifying artist every year to design a custom print that is influenced by their relationship with nature. And so it's really just it's my opportunity to like gain some inspiration from the outside world and really collaborate with other badass women that are doing really cool stuff. And also just like really be able to tell the story of that print and of it ends up being a wearable piece of art. And so to be able to share that with the world and help educate consumers on the backstory behind it is really cool for me. And so that's always been my main goal is to just like build a stronger relationship with the end consumer and really help them on like a basic level really understand the story behind the brand and the story behind the product and help them connect on a deeper level.
It's amazing. I mean, I obviously, with a podcast, truly believe in the power of storytelling. And so making that connection for people, it's one thing I have to convince brands of as I reach out for my own partnerships or anything like that is reminding them that people connect to stories. So as a brand, you need to be able to tell your story to get those loyal customers that return time and time again. And that's it's the quality over quantity
Yeah,
mindset.
absolutely.
Um, it sounds like you're well on your way to do that, and I am wondering how Pitch Fest might kind of play a role in what's happening with Saturday swimwear. What does being a Title Nine Pitch Fest finalist mean to you?
I mean, I don't wanna, like, totally spoil my pitch because I touch on this quite a bit, but this experience has already been extremely transformative, and I've talked a lot about just how important it is to, like, know the backstory of the brands and the products that we're buying and supporting, and I think Title Nine does a beautiful job of being like, "Hey, here's where we came from, here's where we're going, here's, like, what we do," and their storytelling is just like next level. They're obviously a leader in the functional women's apparel space. And to be partnered with them is like an honor in and of itself. And to have this opportunity to pitch my product on like a larger scale and like pretty much directly to my target customer
Mhm.
is a game changer for me. And then simultaneously just get to have like mentorship and connection and be able to meet so many other amazing like badass female entrepreneurs that are doing such cool stuff. Like that is just there's no words for it. So really just having this opportunity has been such an honor and I am so grateful for all of the opportunities it's already afforded me and I know it's just going to be transformative from here on out.
That's the general theme of The podcast of this special series of Title Nine is collaboration over competition and bringing women together to lift each other up because we are all there's space for everybody. I'm wondering too what your biggest growth lesson has been so far.
I thought a lot about this question, and I think really for me, this last year has been a whirlwind in a lot of ways, and there's a larger story behind that, but really, I think for me, stepping like this past year, I've kind of been encouraged to step back and like look at the business and what it's evolved to over the years and what the past has looked like and really like where I want to go and where I want it to be in the future. And, you know, I think first and foremost, a really great product doesn't sell itself. I think has been my biggest growth lesson is like I know I have an awesome product and I hear it from customers. I have women who purchase my suits year after year after year who just want it in a different color. And it's like, it's their favorite swimsuits, the first bikini that they've been able to buy in 7 years because they haven't, felt comfortable enough in their body. Um, but I think for me, from a business perspective, it's really just figuring out like this past year I've really forced myself to figure out like okay what works and what doesn't work and how do we trim the fat a little bit on that and sell the product to our people because I
Mhm.
think there's in the day of social media and there's just so much noise and it's really hard to kind of like reach that perfect customer and so I think I've really just been trying to reach her and trying to figure out how to reach her and it's just being a solo entrepreneur, it's hard to do everything and aspects of the business totally get neglected and, it's just like, okay, how do I best allocate my time and resources to ensure that I'm doing all the necessary pieces? So, taking a step back and just like really looking at the bigger picture and what my hopes are for the brand and, also where it's come from because I was hand making swimsuits out of my college apartment and like just seeing where I'm at now is just a world of a difference. So humbly just acknowledging the growth and the transformation and also being learning to recognize when it's time to like, okay, this is what I need to do different or this is what's worked and this is what hasn't. So um that was kind of a big way of answering that question. But yeah, I think just kind of acknowledging the bigger picture has been really informative, humbling, and, transformative for me.
I couldn't resonate more with all of that. I'm a totally different business, not a tangible item, not product based, but oh, yeah, you hit the spot right there of you having a great product or idea or business or whatever does not grow itself. There is so much
Mhm.
more behind the scenes, and it's so hard, like you said, to cut through the noise and find the people that you're talking directly to. I love the way you put that. Like I said, I resonate. You put some of my own feelings into words that I didn't have. And with that, so knowing what you've learned so far, and kind of like the path you're going towards, what's the boldest vision you have for Saturday swimwear?
Yeah, I mean, beyond just creating and designing like really great products that are the go-to swimsuits for women who, are fall into that target demographic for regular women all over the world who want to move, who don't want to worry about their suits. I think my biggest hope and dream is to shift the industry standard really is to prove that you don't have to choose between performance, style, and sustainability. I would love for Saturday Swimwear to stand as a leader in the functional, ethical fashion space by empowering women and also protecting the planet. So to really build, like in a dream world, a global community of women that feel seen, supported, and inspired, really.
Amazing. That leads right into the next question of what keeps you fired up. So you want to inspire other women out there, but what keeps you inspired to keep chasing this dream and to grow Saturday Swimwear into that bold vision?
Honestly, it's my customers. Like, it's that woman who tried on a bikini for the first time in 7 years who wasn't ever comfortable enough to wear a bikini, and it's, being brought to tears because it's the first time they put on a swimsuit and are like, I have the ability to do anything now. And like that, that like hits me right in the heart. And that I think is my main motivator and the main reason I want to spread my message, but also grow the brand because like I said, I know I have a great product, and it's not meant
Mhm.
to, like, toot my own horn, it's really just feedback
Toot
that I've
it.
gotten from years and years of doing this, and so I just want to be able to spread that feeling and spread that message and empower women to go after it, like, to get outside, to do whatever they want, and that our clothing and what we wear should never, ever get in the way of us doing that.
We've heard similar answers quite a bit on the podcast, and I love them all so much because I feel like those right there always let me know that, again, my values are aligning with my guests. Like, we're in this together. We all
Yeah.
just get so much from what we wanna put out there in the world. It just shows me you truly, truly care about what you're doing, the people, and it's really connected to you and your values. As we wrap it up here, will you tell the people where they can find you and how they follow along?
Yeah, so you can find me at my website, which is just SaturdaySwimwear.com. I'm on Instagram at Saturday Swimwear. And then hopefully starting spring 2026, you can find me online and in stores at Title Nine.
Yeah. I mean, I'm rooting for you all, like,
I'm
they have s
manifesting it.
yes, they've the gals at Title Nine have said they never say how many winners there could be. They don't like to say there's 1, there's 3, there's whatever. They've always got you on their side no matter what happens, so,
Yeah,
again, we're excited to follow the journey, see what happens, Emily, and thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck. I'll see you Friday the
sounds good.
26th.
Yes, 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 yes. Thanks so much for having me. This was fun.
Yes, you are welcome. Thanks, everybody out there. Follow Saturday Swimwear in the show notes. All right. We've got Kate Harvey of Birdie Blue. And I first saw this with a collaboration with Nara. So I think that's even extra special that that's two T9 Pitchfest finalists who are collaborating together. I think that goes to show all of you, if you listen to the first episode in the Pitch Fest series with Lisa and Molly, how the connections go so beyond Pitch Fest itself. And these women brands are continuing to stay connected and network with each other. So when I saw this again, I was just like, oh, amazing. Again, like I said, T9 sticking to their core values and putting their money where their mouth is by really supporting these women who support each other. So, with that, Kate, I am going to let you take it over with your elevator pitch here of Birdie Blue and tell the wonderful folks what it is. But first, please start off with where you are recording today.
Darren, thanks so much for having me. I am standing in Morrisville, Vermont right now, which is just about 10 minutes north of Stowe for those that are not as familiar with northern Vermont.
Awesome. Way over on the east. And you're coming all the way to California for Pitch Fest in just well, if you're when you're listening to this, everyone out there, Pitch Fest is just days away.
It's true. And we cannot wait. We're so excited. And just to be around all the inspiring women at Title Nine and then all of my fellow Pitch Fest finalists is just going to be such a blast. And any excuse to escape rural Vermont. I mean, we love it. There's a lot of reasons we live here, but it's kind of nice to get back out into civilization. We live in a pretty rural part of the country. So I'm very excited to travel out to California.
Amazing. Well, tell us a little bit about Birdie Blue.
So, Birdie Blue is a company where we upcycle old ski and snowboard gear into personality filled lifestyle bags. So, we partner with gear companies, ski mountains, and clothing recyclers to divert their broken gear from landfills and give it new life in the form of fanny packs, carry-all totes, sling bags, pouches, dock kits. Our effort to try to give new life to old gear.
That's amazing. I love that it's really specific in that ski and snow industry and looking at your bags and just the color pops. It's incredible to see how you can use recycled gear and actually make it look like Like, it isn't recycled, like, it's a brand new looking product. I love the story behind that. What would you say is the gap that Birdie Blue is filling in the industry?
Yes. So, as we think a lot about and hear a lot about sustainability, it's a big buzzword now out in the outdoor
Mhm.
gear industry. Where we fit in, where no one really else has tackled yet, because it's not easy, is within the circularity focus, the end of life of gear. So, the whole idea that you go out, you buy a really great pair of ski pants from maybe one of our partners like Burton or Stio. They last for hopefully years and years and years. Sometimes a zipper might break. Sometimes you might have a big rip up the middle of your pants, like I did, which is what
Mhm.
inspired me to start this business. Um, and you just can't repair it. And so there's not really a way to maybe repair and then sell or find a way to salvage the gear. A lot of that gear ends up getting thrown out. So,
Mhm.
what we found in experiencing this personally and doing some research that 92 million tons of clothes get thrown out every single year. So we just figured there has to be some solution when we think about everything else that we're doing, whether it's secondhand sales like one of our partners, Gear Trade, so you can buy great gear at a discounted price in a consignment model, or a lot of repair partners out there that'll keep your gear in use much longer. There just wasn't a solution for when that gear just isn't repairable anymore or isn't resellable.
Mm.
So that's really the gap we're filling. And the way we think about it is that we're a collaborator, we're not a competitor. So a company like Stio, much like they just did, they sent us 3 pallets of broken gear that they can't repair or sell. And
3
so we're
pallets?
3 pallets. Yeah, we made 800
Whoa.
bags from it, and we still have some stuff left over. So, uh,
Wow.
yeah, there was a lot there, and that's just from one season from one collection. So that was from 2021. So it just gives you the perspective of just how much is out there that we could scale on, and it helps Stio then create a revenue stream from gear that would otherwise end up in the garbage.
Mhm. Mhm. I really love that you put it as, we're collaborators here because I feel like it can be a little bit difficult this day and age. Everyone wants to do kind of their own thing. You see a lot of resell and a lot of brands like doing that, but like you said, that what differentiates you is that it's something brand new because you can't resell it. The gear is and you can't repair it, right? So it's a totally different category that I feel like is growing for sure. It's another way of growing, but it is also in its infancy and figuring out what do we do with these things we already have because the
Right.
thing is we already have them. So like what that there's not a great way to get rid of them. So I absolutely love the upcycle thing. And you alluded to your aha moment, I feel like, with the ripped pants. Would you say that was your aha moment or expand on what that was if it wasn't?
Yeah, so I was getting on a chairlift with my son, and we heard a very loud rip. He was 5 at the time, and as five-year-old boys would do, started giggling, thinking the sound came from another, reason, but what we started realizing is, I felt a lot of cold air as I was riding the chairlift in areas you don't expect when you're wearing ski pants, and, my didn't realize how badly I had ripped my ski pants until I had to ski down literally with my rear end hanging out. So, that's really kind of what created the genesis of this because I loved these ski pants so much. I had been skiing in them for 20 years. I wore them when I was a ski bum out in Utah. Like, I just remember the joy of sitting on the chairlift, skiing down on like a beautiful bluebird day, 10 out of 10, no clouds in the sky, and the joy that just even a pair of, equipment or gear can bring you is real. And so, in doing that research and trying to find a way to either recycle or upcycle them, because I just couldn't let go of them, finding that there wasn't a solution out there, that's really what um, led to us starting Birdie Blue. And Birdie Blue, of course, is a play on a bluebird day. So again, trying to just instill that joy that you feel whether you're biking, hiking, skiing, walking your dog on just a beautiful day, the joy you feel of being outside in Mother
Oh,
Nature.
amazing. Would you say I know it's hard as someone else framed this as, like, you're asking us to pick our favorite child when asking, like, is there a product you're, like, most proud of? But I think a lot of people, a lot of founders have a connection, to one product, whether maybe it is the first one they made, or it could just be, like, a new one or some story connection that is just a little different or something than others. Do you have a product like that in your line?
I know, I hate to admit it, right? I love all the bags equally, right? That's what I tell them. Um, and I know I'm, like, looking at them right now. And we started with the fanny pack, so that's, like, our OG. We then launched a Dop Kit or a toiletry bag because we found that a lot of people were using our bags for travel. We're coming out we redesigned our sling bag, so there'll be some new designs around the holiday of just a really easy grab and go over the shoulder bag. But I think the hero of the product line is our carry-all bag, which is a tote bag. Here, I'll show you. Not that you can really see this, but I can just kind of show you some of the features that make this like a really special bag. So it's a big,
Yeah.
large carry-all tote. The bottoms are actually banners from the US ski team. So whenever they go to their World Cup events, they were landfilling all of the banners at the end of the year. And now they send them to us and they're super durable and waterproof. So it's a nice way to make sure nothing in the bag gets dirty or wet if you put it on the ground. And it has, of course, our 3-panel design, which is kind of inspired by the geriatric millennial in me, kind of like retro ski style. And then we take the pockets from ski pants and ski jackets and actually sew them inside. So we're
Oh
trying to
my
use as much
gosh.
of the gear as possible. So you can see you can like fit your snacks in here, your phone, and there's a key hook and water bottle loops so that your water bottle doesn't fall all over the bag when you're carrying it. So it's a really multi-purpose bag. We joke that like it's like the Mary Poppins of bags because you can use it for hauling all your gear to the ski mountain or as your carry-on on an airplane or going to the grocery store. So we really wanted a versatile bag that really helped us utilize as much of the gear as possible, and that's kind of where the carry-all came in.
That's so cool. I love that you are able to utilize the pockets from old ski pants, like, right into the bag. I think we talk a lot in the outdoor industry how, a lot of the new things, the new drops, the new this and that, like, are lacking innovation. It's just a new colorway or something, right? And there's some things I was like, "Well, how can you, make it better or whatnot?" But with what you're doing with the upcycling, I feel like that is so innovative to really use the entire garment instead of having to even like, "Oh, cool, we're using all this other upcycled material, but we still need to add a pocket, so we have to go buy new material and put the zippers on and this and that." I think that is so genius and smart, and it seems like it truly has everything, the stash pocket, the zip pocket, and the water bottle pocket. So cool. In regards to Pitch Fest, what does being a Pitch Fest finalist mean to you? Like, you've done incredible things, you have amazing, partners, it seems, and big collaborations, so, yeah, how, did becoming a finalist in Title Nine Pitchfest, what does it mean to you?
Yeah, so I have been in business almost 3 years now, and right after I launched, I had a lot of recommendations from other Vermont womenpreneurs, that were Title Nine finalists to apply. And I applied the first time, like, right after I had launched, and I made it to the semifinals, and they gave me some great feedback that my bags at the time were a little too expensive, so we just even my first experience with Title Nine was all about how do I innovate on this? How do I simplify? How do I get to the right type of bag design that will allow me to scale? So I actually shared this in my application this time. I feel like I'm super prepared, and it was all thanks to them being so candid with me the first time and really taking the time to like learn about my business and learn about my products and share that feedback. A lot of times you apply to these types of pitch fests and you hear nothing,
Mhm.
so it just made me realize, like, I wanna be a part of this so badly, and so I, again, took that advice, went back to the drawing board, kind of rejiggered things, and now have come back on a much more stable platform where we invested a lot in how we were gonna scale this thing, and I think I'm just really ready now, so to me, it means a ton to be here. It kind of is a point of reflection that I took a lot of the feedback and the advice, and I worked really hard to really make sure this is a stable business to prove you can have purpose and profit, that you can
Mm.
scale an upcycle business. And so I'm just really excited to now bring this new approach and kind of where the business is today to Title Nine and share kind of the updates with the whole team and a lot of the former finalists that will be there. And then, of course, my fellow finalists. It's just going to be, I feel like it's not even a competition. It's such a fun, supportive, all to this point, all of the meetings we've had and all the coaching we've had, it just really feels like it's going to be a gang of amazing, badass women just like hanging out. So I'm so
Uh,
excited.
so cool. Again, really driving home the values of Title Nine there, in that they are really here to champion the women brands. The fact that you went before, you got amazing feedback where you were able to actually go work on your business. You learned something from that. They're giving you really valuable information to come back, and in a way that inspires and motivates you to come back. Like you just said, you don't even
Mhm.
look at it as a competition. This is like become just a way to network, meet people, and learn things. So that's
Yep.
incredible again to hear from someone who has experienced it before and is experiencing it again. It's just everything about this series we're doing is just making me fall more and more in love with Title Nine. I'm wondering, you've done a few things. Obviously, you just said you've been at Pitch Fest before. What's the biggest growth lesson that you have learned from your brand so far?
Yeah, for me, it's been patience, which is not one of my strong attributes. So I've had to approach this in a very methodical way. And there were a lot of naysayers out there. A lot of people, there's a women's group here in Vermont, in Northern Vermont. I was introduced to a consultant who had worked kind of in this industry. And I'll never forget when she said to me, the price you're paying to have your bags made is what you should be selling your bags at. And from that moment on, I didn't take that as criticism or like to get beaten down. I kind of took it as I'm going to prove that you can have a model where bags are made in the United States by women in Northern Vermont and in New Mexico, which is where our two production teams are. And we can do it at a price point that is still competitive and our margins are still protected and sitting at industry averages, but in a way that we're very, very prescriptive about how we do our work. So that's where I had to really slow down. And I took all of 2025 to really build a production team. I was very focused on like the types of people I brought into our sewing network, how we built standard operating processes, which sounds so like corporate jargon, but it's been so important for us to kind of know the processes we follow because a lot of the work we do is very labor intensive. We're taking apart gear, we're cutting out patterns, we're
Mhm.
doing everything we can to not leave like one scrap unused. So, in that sense, we had to just be very, very thoughtful about how we go about our process. And I am not the most patient person. I am a Taurus. And so I'm very much the bull that kind of charges in and tries to just like find solutions. And so it's been really good for me to just kind of take a deep breath, know that I'm operating a very different model from traditional cut and sew or traditional manufacturing. And so I've had to just get comfortable with the fact that it's taking a little longer for us to figure this out. But now we've unlocked what is a much more stable platform to allow us to grow. I would say the patience has also helped me. I'm a mom of two and whew, balancing young kids and building a business. It's a lot. So I
Yeah.
say I get much more patient in other areas of my life too. That we can't control everything, right? Sometimes you just
Yes.
have to roll with the punches.
100%. I can resonate with that so much. I mean, a lot of the women on here and what their biggest growth lesson has been, it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure we're all are or have experienced those. It's really hard to pick one. I think you learn so much being an entrepreneur, whatever your business is, service, product or whatnot. Patience is something I'm still very much working on myself.
Uh-huh.
In terms of the bigger vision, what is the boldest vision you have for Birdie Blue?
Yes. So to date, we've saved 10,000 pieces of gear from landfills.
Wow.
And in 5 years, I want that to be millions. Like I want to be the upcycle partner to all the big gear companies, to all the ski mountains out there, to prove that you can create something new in the US that adds a little fashion and flair and thoughtfulness to our gear, but is also truly walking the walk and doing good and keeping gear in circulation, maybe in a different form. So it's taken some education. It kind of ties back to the patience theme, but we've gotten a few ski mountains now to sign on with us. We have a few gear companies that are partnering with us now. So we're just kind of hoping that this all starts to snowball. No pun intended. Corny, but yes, like over the next couple of years, it would be super exciting just to see us be able to open up more partnerships. We get so much joy over the partnerships we've been able to develop, especially with other women-led businesses. And so that's really where I'm super excited about this next step with Title Nine and to see where that takes us and just keep saving gear and give it new life.
Oh, incredible. I love it. The last question into this question, they can kind of meld together. But is there something that keeps you just like fired up to keep doing this, whether it's one thing or again, just kind of a general like mission that keeps you going for this every day? Because as we know, times right now are incredibly tough for everybody. Having a small business in general is. So, what is that spark that just makes you put your head down and go and chase that bold vision?
Yeah, I am working harder than I ever have and making much less money. Not that that's what it's about, right? But there's so many days that I'm like, wow, what am I doing with my life?
Mhm, mhm.
But I love it so much. I love the people I now get to work with, the work we do, the creativity that is now in my life every day. And for me, what really drives me is my children, the idea that like the fact that this all started when I was sitting on a ski lift with my favorite ski partner who is now 10. But he at the time was just like a little dude and he just loves to rip and we find our joy out in nature. And to me, thinking about the tough times we are all living through, the best healing for me is to get outside, whether it's on my mountain bike or my skis or just hiking. And the thought that that might not be around for Teddy and his children and their children really breaks my heart. So to me, if I'm just doing a little tiny bit of my part to crack open that 92 million tons of clothes we throw out every year that are becoming some of the biggest pollutants on this planet, then that's really what makes me happy at the end of the day. And kind of starting to see others support the mission that we're on, that again, you can have purpose, you can have passion, and it can lead to something successful if kind of you just stick with it. And that's my biggest thing. I've just like just do it. We just got to stick with it. Put one foot in
Yes.
front of the other. Lots of ups and downs in this entrepreneurial life, but most of the days I'm putting one foot in front of the other, and it's the best life. I will never go back.
Oh, love to hear it. It's definitely I think it helps others to hear something like that too, 'cause when you are so passionate about something and you can relate it back to a purpose, because that's, something else I've been thinking about a lot in life is so many jobs, they don't
Mhm.
serve a bigger purpose. Obviously, that's the way of the world and how business and economy has to keep going, and it's not what everybody is after, but the listeners out there, this podcast, and I think a majority of the people, again, who will find us, I'm sure relate to really needing and wanting purpose in their life, in all aspects. So when you can work that into your business or job, then it just, I don't know, makes life more enjoyable. So I need the purpose in my own life. I feel that so hard. Kate, tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, so you can shop at shopbirdieblue.com. It tells us our whole story. All of our bags are there. You can also upcycle your broken gear with us on our
Ooh.
website. So lots of fun information. You can also check us out for latest updates on Instagram at Shop Birdie Blue. And we're at a few different REIs. We're at Paragon Sports New York and a few different boutiques, which you can also find on our website as well. So if you want to shop in person and get to pick your own color combo, you can check out our event list and our retail partners.
So cool. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us and can't wait to see you at Pitchfest. And best of luck to you there as well.
Thank you, Taryn. This was so fun. I appreciate it.
Of course. That wraps up our first episode with this year's Title Nine Pitchfest finalists. Stay tuned Thursday to hear from more, and of course, follow along to see some live interactions Friday and find out who this year's winners will be.